What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord Dr. Professor Dark Joker here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are traditional fans with opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. One Piece episode 1143. So this episode with Vegapunk, basically like he's like dead now, basically, or very close to it. His broadcast starts basically was triggered by like basically his death, and so while Luffy is fighting Saturn and Kizaru, the broadcast is going on. None like the Strides understand it's a broadcast. Is they're like, wait, is Shaka alive? Is that what is that because they thought that basically the quote good Vegapunk was killed by York. And then yeah, then we see people on different areas of the world, especially places that the Straw Hats had visited, being major focuses on the reactions to it. So yeah, Goa Kingdom, Dressrosa, and we see Vivi when she's on Morgan's aircraft, and then like yeah, so basically like and then everyone's like the Navy's like, what the heck's going on? We can't stop this thing. We can't stop this message. And like the other four elders like contact Saturn like, where's Vegapunk? And Saturn's like, he's dead. Like he's like, I saw Kizaru kill him. So it's just while Saturn's fighting Luffy and like a kind of a fight sequence very reminiscent of like the old like like Looney Tunes and you know Tom and Jerry, a lot of your old cartoons, like slapstick cartoons from back then, back way back in the day. So like Luffy like basically launches Kizaru basically onto like like basically he falls onto his ship and basically now he's fighting Saturn 101. Then Saturn like basically like, we got to find this message, the source of this message. So you see like these other like dark circles form, and that's supposed to be like when the other elders are appearing to like basically challenge to like fight the Straw Hats, destroy the message. They don't know what they don't know what Vegapunk is gonna say. They don't know. Like like they don't know how much if he like, actually knows a lot about the Void Century or something, or like if he's about to like if is he gonna reveal Emu's existence or something? They don't know. Like hey, I mean really Vegapunk doesn't really know either actually. Kind of spoiled, but Vegapunk doesn't even know when even none of the Vegapunks know what the message is. So yeah, so basically all this is going on, and then and that's going to lead to next. So next episode, that's when like the other four elders, their powers are going to start, becoming very apparent. Like their abilities, whether it's devil fruit, whether it's something else entirely, who knows? But like yeah, so I really like this episode. I like the humor they did, like the slapstick humor for like the Luffy's fighting style, which is meant to be the point. The animation really does sell like the influences that old slapstick had on Gear 5. The manga can't really display that as well as it possibly because I mean look, because that slapstick style, you know, kind of is something that animation has to be able to show, whereas in comic book form, panel form, it is kind of hard to show that sometimes. So I really liked how it displayed the Luffy's fighting style. I liked basically how they're showing how big of a threat the Five Elders are. And next week, oh man, next week's episode is gonna be hype. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. One Piece chapter 1160. So in this chapter, the God Valley incident starts. So the whole game, the hunting challenge between like the celestial dragons starts. So like you see them like hunting different like victims, like and you see different families. So a new family that's introduced is the Bavette family. We don't have a name for anyone in the Bavette family, but that's a new family that's introduced. So we don't know who all's in it. So looks like we have like another family named, and so yeah, so and everyone's really happy to be fighting. The hunting the Davy clan. One person calls it saying, "You're just more Buccaneers, aren't you?" Now I guess that's meant to hint that the Davy clan could they could be Buccaneers. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we know that Huma is a Buccaneer. That we do know. We don't know about Blackbeard, and there's a possibility that could explain like his size. Because well, I mean, there's a lot of really tall people, really like big people in One Piece. So like yeah, so it's possible maybe like the Davy clan was a major family, Buccaneer family, and then we see Dragon seeing all these people. Like you see Celestia just straight up brutally murdered. Like you see like this one husband and wife hiding their infant, and the baby cries. Celestial Dragon sees them, and the mother's begging, and the Celestial just brutally murders point blank the father, son, and like the father, the mother, and the baby. Like you see like this one lady saying asking for her husband. This old lady asks for her husband not to get killed. You see like just brutally murdering everyone there, and like you see like this son stuck in the tree, and then Somers has the kid fall. The and, basically about to fall, like the kid's about to fall in like these thorns or whatever. The father tries to catch him, and they're both shown dead. We don't see him actually die. We just see their corpses, especially the father's corpse. So it's Dragon is like sickened by it. Dragon had he's trying to get Shanks and Shamrock out of there. He didn't know who the he was like I don't know who but he's like I want to get these kids out. And we see he sees Ivankov giving his little speech saying how to get free. And we see Dragon shoot a celestial dragon that's aiming for Kuma. Now it's a trank dart, so the celestial dragon's not dead. You know. Then that's when the Rocks pirates arrive, the Roger pirates, and you see in some other perspective, some stuff that happened during the whole when they land. So you see Rocks there with all the with all the other like his crew. So obviously a lot of them are fighting over Shaki. We know why Rocks is there. He's there to protect his family. And like Gloriosa wants to save Shaki because she thinks it'll maybe make Roger grateful to her. You see all the Roger pirates; they're basically all there for Shaki. And so yeah, so it's all out war there. And then you see, while this is going on, it's like Celestial. Basically, the Navy's trying to hide the Celestial dragons, like trying to keep them safe because they know what happens when Celestial Dragon gets attacked, how bad that could be. Basically, like basically, Garling like tells the Navy to pull back, protect Celestial Dragons, and basically the God Knights are going to take care of it. So yeah, and then they don't know what the Celestial Dragon, they don't know what the pirates are after. I mean, Shaki was kidnapped from Hachinosu. I think it's safe to say a lot of them know exactly what they're after. And then you see Garp throw a cannonball at the island, and so Garp arrives, and all the Navy's like, "Yes, let's go," because all the soldiers like Garp, and he's not even considered the hero of the Navy yet, but he's a vice admiral. He's a highly respected soldier at this point. But yeah, so yeah, I really like this chapter. God Valley was freaking brutal. Like man, I'm like, this is gonna look very dark. This is gonna be when they animate this chapter in the anime, it's gonna be a highly discussed episode. Like just because of how brutal it is. Like it will probably be the most brutal episode of One Piece ever, and that is not hyperbole. It is going to be brutal. But yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. News Exorcist, chapter 114. So in this one, Gakuro does his final attack on Suzaku, who passes away. And Suzaku, like, basically wants, Ishu to be safe. And she'll, and, Gakuro says she'll protect Ishu, like, until the end. And Suzaku, like, tells Gakuro that the next Hio that's going to awaken is Soranaki. Which apparently, according to New, Soranaki was going to be supposed to be one of the later Hio to be awoken. Basically, they have no shot against Soranaki right now. So basically, they're like what the next step is to see if the Exorcist Bureau has like some forbidden jutsu to deal like that can like basically they're trying to find that conceal ability to regenerate. So they arrive at the bureau, and then yeah, so then this one lady who's there thanks Gakuro for defeating Suzaku, and basically you asked about anti-immortality like stuff like anything that could deal with immortality, and the lady says yes, and they have someone who could do it, but she says the only way Gakuro will be able to meet her is if he marries her. Yeah. And Gakuro nervous about. He's like, rap. He's like, he just be he honestly like, look, it's gonna be basically say it's gonna be polygamy. You know, he's like basically he's like as long as she doesn't mind that. And I guess the lady's like, okay. So basically, this lady is that whoever Gakuro's supposed to meet. It's around the same age as him. She's part of the Suga family, and basically she's like basically insane. She's called the Divine Child. Basically, just lives in like a shrine, and basically has been working like all day, and like basically, yeah. And she's like the only member of the Exodus Bureau with recovery abilities, which is why I guess she's called Divine Child. Her name is Natsuki Kuniruri, and she's told about being someone who's a man that's the same age as her, which she's never met any male who's the same age as her. So she reads a bunch of shoujo manga to prepare for that. Then she meets Gakuro's like instantly into him. yeah, so you see like her errant thoughts, and then she's like, it's good for you, good of you to come, like talking very calm. Yeah, dear gosh. I mean, yeah, okay. It's looking like it's turning to a freaking romance manga now. That's what it freaking looks like. It's doing what Kill Blue did. It's doing what Kill Blue did, which really pissed like because Kill Blue started really focusing on the fake relationship thing. I'm like, that's something you could do maybe for an arc or two, make it a joke, and move on. Don't even bring it up, especially for a long series. This one, they've kept this freaking who is Gakuro gonna date thing for months now, and then he's gonna marry Ishu. I guess now he's to marry Natsuki, whatever. I'm like, dear gosh, do we need to do we need to make this a harem series? Like Elusive Samurai dealt with that bit very quick. Elusive Samurai did not linger on. You had a few chapters, mostly played out for humor, and then say, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, Tokiyuki got married, three wives. Okay, that's it. We know in history Tokiyuki had a bunch of descendants. It's believed that there's a lot of people in Japan who trace their descent to Hojo Tokiyuki. Kind of like how a lot of people of Mongol descent trace their descent back to Genghis Khan. Just saying. The Samurai handled it very differently. This series now that is like, dear gosh, like Naruto, you had some romance stuff. Guess what? That was second fiddle to the freaking the magic, the jutsu, the martial arts, the ninja stuff. Like any romance stuff was sidelined, which is kind of why Sakura was sidelined in Shippuden. That is why Sakura was like there's a reason Sakura got sidelined a lot. That's the reason a lot of the female characters got sidelined because a lot of them Southern Prime Rose was kind of, especially Sakura was love interest. So however big that was in a character's role determined how much of their promise they were in the story. Sakura that is very prominent part of her story. So she got silent because of it, and thankfully so. That actually helped her character, especially in part two. You know, but I mean, if this is gonna be a freaking harem thing, like that's all it freaking is. Like Elusive Samurai dealt with it very quick. Like it's still primarily focused on the war against Takaji. But no, this series is coming full freaking like, oh, he has to, I guess, get laid in order to get increase his magical power. The whole Motherland Fort Salem thing. Yeah, screw that. I'm freaking done with this series. If this is what it's doing, I'm freaking done with this manga. Like I was like, okay, yes, let's like when they were doing Suzuku, it was like when we actually gained to the finals, like yes, let's go. We're getting actual fighting. Finally. But now they're going right back to this. Going right back to this crap. I'm like, come on. At least just kill the villains off and then end the series. Because I thought they were maybe gonna end the series soon with all this. It's like I thought they were gonna maybe end this manga soon, but no, they're doing this crap, a series that actually started off pretty well. Like it started off very well. Like very interesting how it started out. Like the actual supernatural stuff with the Hio and the spirits. But no, then it's become a whole freaking romance series. Uh, yeah, no. Uh, Screw this. I may check it later, like a while later, if I see something that says, "Oh no, it's gone back to being about action." It just struggle through it a little bit, maybe. But you know, for now, I'm not reviewing this series anymore. I'm freaking done with it. Elusive Samurai Chapter 218. So in this one, they're in the big battle against Takaji. Tokiyuki draws Aba Miyazuru Maru, who's like Takaji's like number two. He kind of like draws him to it. They see Miyazuru wants to like kill Tokiyuki in order to like I guess raise his status, in Takaji's eyes, because Takaji's like very emotional, bad emotional scenario. And basically Tokiyuki's side they discuss how to deal with Miyazuru, and apparently you know basically from what Tadayoshi told him about Miyazuru, they know that basically he, even though he's very intelligent, he makes a lot of like mistakes when it comes to tactics. And basically the way he conducted himself, and basically they knew they could draw him, lure him and then ambush him, and that's what they do. So basically, using Suzuku's like how she's when Suzuku was like a divine being, she studied how people feel, and basically, yeah, and so once they draw Miyazuru to them, they defeat like they ambush him, and basically his downfall seems to happen, and it looks like he's dead. Like it looks like basically there's like an arrow going for his head. And it looks like either he's injured or he's dead. I don't know. It's hard to say. Basically, it says according to the Teheki, Miyozuru's Hana Ikki fought without restraint, causing the rear ranks of the Ashikaga to crumble. And it is a fact that this good-looking boy, that's how the book describes it. I find that weird that they did, but whatever. Never rose to the inner halls of power. Never again did he command an army. After losing Takaji's support, his downfall was rapid. So I think he's dead because it looks like the arrows went for his head, and he's dead now. You see a bunch of arrows in him. I mean, if he's not dead, he's injured. So yeah, so now it looks like at the end you see Takaji calling Tokiyuki's name, and then Suzuku's like basically his emotional state is like basically about at the worst it could be, and so basically everyone's like, hey, we'll deal with his guards and other defenses, and we'll get expose his weakness, and so preparing to where for Tokiyuki could confront Takaji alone. So yeah, so I really like this chapter. Like how like they're gradually, setting up the final confrontation between Tokiyuki and Takaji, deal with a lot of the other military commanders. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Kagurabachi Chapter 93. So this chapter, this continues, the big fight between, the Hishaku and Kaminabi. So you see, Hokuto fighting Yura Natsuki, and then, and basically you see how they're using their different, their sword powers against each other. And, Natsuki's using his, ice sorcery, and but Hokuto uses like heated blade to like basically fend her off. And Hokuto learns that Orua is still alive, and then basically you see like basically he's like caught off guard for whatever reason, and then like you see Hakuri like coming across the one of the swords, like one of the Sanuchi. So like basically the whole bit like why was is there a reason why they were able to, the Kaminari were able to get the Sanuchi from Hakuri's father's like auction, like what happened? What is there some secret like because basically the bomb like they thought it could be a bomb, but they checked it. That's not the case, so they don't know what could be going on. and so that maybe this should be revealed soon. But yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi Chapter 60. So in this one, Kiyoshi spends time at Sosuke's house, meets a lot of like his family, a lot of the staff and the staff's families. Because Sosuke's family is like very rich. And so Sosuke's father like helps Kiyoshi, recover. And basically Kiyoshi's able to like basically he heals very fast. And like but he still can't use like his preset ability. Basically, it was short circuited. So like, even though while over the course of 2 weeks he has recovered a lot, and so and Sosuke challenges him to do some martial arts training, and so they do basically it's hand to hand combat, and basically what's shown is that Misono, who's Sosuke's mother, was a cross paladin who had died very short after becoming one, and so Kiyoshi goes to her grave, pays some his respects, while Sosuke's there talking about how he was able Sosuke was there talking to his mother how he was able to defeat one of the demon lords and all that. And then we see Sosuke's father remembering Misono and talking basically in picture and it says, showing how Sosuke was able to exorcise a demon lord and that he's basically is more like Misono every day and that he's training with and then has made a friend and turns out um who Misono died saving Kiyoshi like when Kiyoshi was a kid like a lot younger and so it's like a weird twist of fate and so we see Sosuke and Kiyoshi smile after they're both exhausted from their training. See, I really like this chapter. I like how they show more Sosuke's past, and you see his father's basically monologue, basically while Kiyoshi and Sosuke are trained. I really like that was really good storytelling there. Whole reveal of Misono having saved Kiyoshi when he was a kid. That's interesting. I don't know if that probably will be relevant later on. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Ichi the Witch, Chapter 50. So in this one, we see Deskars fight, that intruder sent by World Hater Magic, and it's basically that intruder is just taunting Deskars. It's revealed that basically World Hater Magic wants to wants all humanity to be wiped out, and it's revealed that Deskars' brother was killed. It's implied, I guess it was by magic, so Deskars was definitely pissed off by those comments. So the intruder escaped, very injured, but he gives the staff back to World Hair Magic. And that basically World Hair Magic asks that asks where the seeds plan. The guy says yes, and we see that that big fortune tower magic. We see how she's concerned about it, about everything. And then, basically, World Hair does not want a future where humans and magics coexist. So that's the answer. It looks like that's they're trying to set up the next arc. But yeah, I really like this chapter. Like how they're saying World Hair Magic is more doing some more setup for him as a future villain. But yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Odor of the Flame, Chapter 18. So in this chapter, Odor's group arrives at where the wind spirit is, and then Dodoa the Wicked Horn had followed them there, and basically he sacrifices his lungs in order to try to capture the wind spirit, and so yeah, basically you see some conversations between you know Poutine um and Odor and Edupurko, basically all of them talking. like basically Perko says that Kutin has like matured, I guess, since I guess they last met. But yeah, so right, this chapter basically ends with the whole with Dodoa trying to you know trying to some weird monster thing, and then trying to like capture the wind spirit. So that should be interesting. And yeah, so I'm interested in how what all happens. Like we see, Kutin and Oder both ready to fight, Dodoa. So that should be interesting. What happens next week? Will Dodoa get the wind spirit? How it happen? You know, will Kutin maybe become a user of the wind spirit? That would be interesting. But yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Harukaze Mound, chapter 13. So in this one, so the game between Ryokusen and Hinazakura starts. Obviously Ryokusen being filled with all of like Kungo's like old teammates, and we see Ryokusen gets a 2-run homer to basically in the first inning. Now Nagaharu's in outfield. Well, he's not because obviously they can't use one pitcher for every game. That's not how baseball works. So Nagiharu's actually in the outfield while someone else is pitching. And then Nagaharu like say, hey, let's communicate better, blah blah, and like I guess helps calm everyone down. So and basically then I guess by the time it gets to the bottom the first, Hina had given up 3 home runs, and so now Kingo is up to bat when the chapter ends. And so looks like he's like really serious. He's ready to like. My guess is based on how they're saying it, he's probably about to get a home run. Is what it looks like. So I really like chapter like how they're saying up Kingo like I guess his making some big play I guess in the game. So I'm interested in how they handle that. How he handles going against his former teammates. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Ekiden Bros, chapter 11. So in this one, you see like you know Nobu's like brother Mitsu like had been studying abroad. Basically, he likes running. I guess he doesn't like he doesn't like no like his and Nobu's father. Basically, he's competing for Satoki, but he doesn't care about how the does. He is how the team does. He is likes to run, and basically he just likes to run, and Nobu says he's doing it for everyone, like who believe him and all that. So I guess they have different reasons they want to run, and so basically they want to race with each other. And so obviously that's Samp, them I guess competing against each other in the race. And then you see Hanashiro about to start his leg of the race. So yeah, so basically like they're like it looks like he's like that Hanashiro's next up in line, for like this race. So yeah, I really like this chapter. Interesting what they're saying up with Nobu's like bit of the race. I don't know how far into like the whole season they'll go because a lot of series have ended after like 20 something chapters. So this is one that I could see ending after this race with like Nobu and Mitsu. Like once their race is done, they end the series. I could see them doing that. I hope not, because it looks like there's supposed to be a big one at the big like Ekiden race at the end. That's not this one, but I would like to. But yeah, overall, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Ping-Pong Peril, chapter 10. So In this one, Tyra completes his comeback and wins the match. Now the teacher is sort of loser about it, so he's beaten up by the he gets beat up like by Mutsuki. Basically, she like kicks him like very hard and knocks him out. And then basically Tyra's shocked by that, and it's real that basically Mutsuki is always there to like monitor the matches, make sure everything goes through the rules, make sure there's no violence, everyone basically like no one like everyone like pays the money that they owe. Then Tyra was congratulated by this robot thing of reaching rank 5 by this thing called a Ping-Pong Peril bot. And yeah, so Tyra gets a badge, and then basically yeah, so then Tyra he gets $8 million from that victory. So Mitsuki like invites Tyra to get sushi, and Tyra asks if Bobo can come too, and shown that basically Tyra's I guess the story in this manga is about it. He takes like a unexpected directions. How to describe? I don't know what that means, but yeah, I really like this chapter. I liked how they handled the ping pong, liked how they dealt with this game. So yeah, I like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Apocalypse Bringer Mynoghra, episode 11. So in this one, the Demon Lord is starting to conquer different areas of the world, and Takuto is preparing for battle against Flame's forces. So, and Isla believes that the Demon Lord could be someone who would reincarnate as well. But basically, there's not a chance for peace right now, so Taco decides to fight back. He sends Isla, Gear, and the Brain Eaters, and some larvae to fight off the Demon Lord's forces. Now, some of the civilians, they're evacuated to help set up a battlefield. Takuto gives some mana to help Isla, but Karia and Maria are concerned for her since she has like adopted them as like her own at this point. So Flamin fights Isla, and then basically Isla summons some larvae, and and then Isla wins the fight. Now then something's off as Karia and Maria suddenly arrive at the battlefield for some reason, even though they were just with Takuto, and them and Takuto sense that something's off. So like the Flamin's corpse, like it smiles. So it's likely he's still alive. So that sets up, I guess, the next episode. See how I like how they're setting up this demon lord, whatever, as the villain. How they're handling, his like. So basically, you could potentially have two reincarnated people, fighting a war with each other, deal with their forces. So yeah, I really like this episode. Interesting how they set up like who is this demon lord? Is it a reincarnated person? Is it not? Is it someone else? So I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Gachiakuta episode 10. So in this one, Rudo like gets his charms from Rimlin, who basically is like settled into like his new role as the basically is like the big crafter for the spellcaster for them. So then Rudo gets his full face mask, which involves exchanging blood. So I guess he and the other cleaners can communicate with each other. So then the cleaners then head towards Penta to find the woman who's called the Warden of the Forbidden Zone. So this is like where we're doing with the Lady of Penta arc, which is a great arc, very dark arc, very gives the dark fantasy feel of this series. Now we see now the War in the Forbidden Zone is revealed to be his character named Amo, who has a pair of boots that has the same mark as, Rudo's glove, basically implying that they're part of the Watchmen series. And out the straight, they are part of Watchmen series. Like they are. That's what it is. Like so, yeah. And I can tell I've read this part of the manga. This is gonna be a great freaking arc. And you see like yeah, you see like basically engines like he's like almost like brain dead when he gets there. He like you see he's just drooling or something. Like he's like under a spell because of basically it's due to Almo's abilities. Like Almo has some very weird abilities. And yeah, I can tell you it's gonna be insane this arc. Like honestly, there's some because Almo is a villain in this arc for a period of time. But they're basically saying she's a threat. She is a threat. So yeah, I really liked what they're setting up with her. I'm looking forward to the rest of this arc, how they're gonna show the big fight against Amo, how that's gonna. But it is dark. But I really like this episode. Oh man, I am really looking forward to to the next few episodes, like the rest of this arc. Man, it is gonna be great. Like this is a great arc in the manga, and I think it's gonna be really good in the anime. Uglymug Epicfighter episode 11. So in this episode, Lee is like trying to find this kid, and obviously Shigeru's group is helping her with that. They find the kid, fight these like bandits, whatever, and then Karina appears, and it's revealed that you know Karina's you know basically her real like that's our real name. Karina was a doll, was the name of like that character's doll in the real world. And it's revealed that, well, Harina is the twin sister of the girl that falsely accused Shigeru of of groping her, basically back on her. Apparently, she had a reputation for that, and then Karina, like, since she looked like her, basically her sister because they were twins, she like took a lot of insults because of that. And it's revealed that actually, you know, the accuser's not dead because his ability to Lee had killed her. Turns out she had barely survived, and Karnan apparently considered killing her herself, but decided couldn't do it, and ended up in the I guess this alternate world, like this reincarnated world. So yeah, and then Karna's trying to kill Lee in order to make like Seika like torment Seika, make her not believe in an Almighty God or something. To basically, I guess, since Shigeru is an Almighty God, and so Shigeru's given like an alternate disguise that basically does not look freaking ugly, so no one recognizes him, and it's a better disguise than everyone else has. Now he doesn't choose that. Basically, he's given it. Like basically, a spell's cast on him, giving him that disguise, which I thought was funny. Like his reaction to it was freaking hilarious. Like like he calls himself Seek Snyder. Like I thought it was funny. But yeah, I really like this. But yeah, so Rizu was the one who saw Karina's special notes and learned about it, and told Shigeru that what her identity was. Rizu's the one who gave Shigeru his like design that disguise. But yeah, I really like this this episode. I like what they're saying up with Karina. Basically, she's freaking insane. Now, so is her sister, obviously. But yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Hotel Inhumans, episode 11. So, in this one, so it's revealed the job that Chitana Danka did not want to accept was to assassinate Prince Murray, who was trying to free all the slaves in his country. Basically, his father wanted to do that as well. Basically, the person who ordered the assassination was a minister named Aslan. And so Danka takes the job in order to help free Chitana. And basically the Ikaro and Sarah help her, free Chitana. So Ikaro sneaks in, knocks out this guy, like one of the members of the Falcons who kidnapped Chitana. Basically, he tases the guy, knocks her out right before he tries to violate her. Yeah, and then he tases the guy a second time, as says just to be safe, you know. And then frees Chitana, and then they get out. And so and Sarah basically said during this whole flash when they're playing out, basically in order for the rescue plan to work, Danka does technically have to accept the job. So Danka's paired with some child slave, and so after Ikuro and Chitana escape, and then so Ikuro gives Chitana her earring, and so Sarah then infiltrates the Falcon's hideout. Basically, I guess to help make sure Danka doesn't get killed on this job. So and that's setting up, I guess, next episode to where what what happens with with Prince Murray? Will he get killed? Will Danica be able to escape without that? I'm interested in what happens because I like this episode. Like how there's the whole assassin of the week thing is great. Obviously, you don't have necessarily too much of an overarching story. You have some maybe multi-part stuff, like obviously this one being a three-part thing. So yeah, I really like this episode. Looking forward to the next one. Dekin no Mogura, the Earthbound Mole, episode 11. So in this one, the Samajima's family, like some of their secrets are revealed regarding how like when the Samajima arrived on the island, basically also that with them in the past led to the legend of the merfolk, like the whole spiritual stuff that happened to them. And so Mogura like confronts the patriarch of the Samajima family and basically embarrasses him. Like basically the guy's like basically a freaking beta male who like has mommy issues or whatever. So doesn't take much to I guess humiliate him. Now then the merfolk they're eaten by the ghost cats like the Bakaneko, and then he and so Yui who was like spread those rumors about Mori. Basically, she gets a talking down to from Kyoko, and she like has like a mental breakdown, which causes her to get dragged into the water by some merfolk as like a last ditch effort. But then Shio, like who obviously can't see any of the spirits, basically jumps into the water and saves her. Basically, she takes off some of her clothes and she had like a swimsuit on under, like a dive suit, like a skin tight dive suit is what she had on under all her clothes. And because she was like island beach, she wore like a I just find it funny how that's the kind of swimsuit she was wearing. Like, huh, interesting choice. I Like I thought that was funny. Like she wore a swimsuit on under because she thought, and then she had Brene change her clothes, and everyone's like, "Wait, what are we gonna do when you're not done with swimming?" Like so, she and she was like, "Oh crap, I didn't bring it." Like I thought that was funny. Like it's just so absurd, but it was so funny. But yeah, I really like this episode. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Spy Family, chapter 123.1. So in this one, Anya's class, um, basically like one of Anya's classmates talks about like there are ghosts at like one of the halls, and basically I guess this guy's really into paranormal. Basically, it's the son of the guy who you know basically Yuri had talked to, I guess about some occult stuff, and so a few chapters ago. So Anya decides to go. She brings a net with her to I guess catch ghosts. You know, I'll you, I guess you don't have fit in thermos in Spy Family. You know, I mean, really, you don't have a fit. I mean, really, find some. Hey, if it's a fit in net, maybe it could work because the fit Jack Fitton occasionally makes it, but obviously you don't have fit in works in Spy Family. You know, but yeah, so and everyone's like, "Do you not know how ghosts work?" When she has a net and she's just enjoying it. You know, and Damien, who's basically jealous of one of the boy of some of the boys in Anya's class, decides to go along, and he brings his two, basically his two like underlings with him, and he's gonna help about everyone. Becky doesn't want to give up 'cause she's like she gets freaked out I guess by ghosts and stuff. She doesn't go. So Anya's just enjoying it, when they go inside, and some idiot decides to shut the door. The thing you don't do in the horror movies, you don't shut the freaking door. At least not without cutting on the lights, I guess. But if it's abandoned, I guess there are no lights. And they're not allowed in there. And basically the idea is that like they catch a ghost, they should maybe be able to do better in school. Damien claims it's because I guess if the ghost attacks you, it means they acknowledge you as smart. But yeah, I then looks like this story's gonna continue on to next week. Looks like because there's like a shoe found. I don't know if it's like some unknown person's or if it's Anya's falling off from when she ran off. But yeah, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one. The Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo Chapter 2. So in this one, the Akatsu twins know that there are aliens on Earth. And that basically they're all given like a special grade on the level of like Sukuna. So, basically like yeah, so we see the twins talking, a little bit about how they're trying to process everything, trying to verify whether there are aliens on Earth. And Maru, I guess, basically they know now that Maru is an alien. And basically yeah, so then they see the alien ship arrive. And so basically Maru's told by I guess his superior cross to stay with the Earthlings. I guess to see how similar what their morals are, just so if they do need to go into conflict with them. And Maru does not want to come. He's like, hey, they seem to be good people. We don't need to go conflict with them. And then Maru seems to be very level-headed, very chill. But now when he meets, I guess, with the Akatsu twins, he's like very serious. But yeah, so I really like this chapter. Interesting how they're gonna set stuff with Maru. Like, how are the Akatsu twins gonna react to him? Like, more like how are they gonna interact with him, knowing now he's an alien, that he's basically given like a special grade. See, I really like this chapter. Looking forward to the next one.
Well, that's it.
Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.